What is going on, guys and gals? My name is Schematocles, and today we are playing Microsoft Flight Simulator X. Not something we normally do on this channel, but the AH-64 Longbow Apache by Virtavia has been released on FSX Steam Edition, so I figured I would make an exception just to try this thing out, as the Apache is by far my favorite helicopter of all time. So we're sitting on the tarmac here in Raleigh, Durham, and we're going to be flying over to Fayetteville International today. I had originally planned to fly into Fort Bragg, where there are a lot of Apaches, but FSX doesn't have a Fort Bragg. Or it does, but it's in California, which is not right. So today we're just going to play pretend and act like Fayetteville International, or Fayetteville Regional rather, is Fort Bragg. So we're sitting on runway 5 left, and we have our takeoff clearance from ATC for VFR departure. So let's go ahead and get underway here. And the Apache is very powerful for a helicopter, as you'd expect. It's more or less the fighter jet of the rotary wing world. As you can see, we're already doing over 100 knots here. And the aircraft's capable of going up to around 200 indicated before you start to get into overspeed conditions. I believe this is actually an older Payware aircraft, but they redid some of the textures. As you can see, it looks pretty good externally. Alright, let's go ahead and tune Raleigh departure here. And then we will request to transition across the Class C airspace. We're going to have to actually cross RDU airspace. Okay. All right. So we're going to turn back to the west here. And begin our VFR flight. Should be a relatively short hop today. It's only about an hour drive from Raleigh to Fayetteville, so I wouldn't suspect that it'd be too long to fly. Crossing back over the airport today. On our way out. Go ahead and take a look at some of the functionality of our MFDs here. Let's switch this over to utility. And you can see we have the throttle set to 100%, which it will pretty much remain at all the time. You actually control the amount of thrust you get off the rotor with the collective rather than the throttle itself. 99% fuel. Hydraulic pressure looks good. Switch back over to the map display. Cruising about 170 knots indicated. Seems a bit fast. Not sure how realistic that is. Maybe indicated might be right. Let's take a look at some external views here. Very cool. Again, really do like the AH-64. In particular, the longbow. So named because it has that ridiculous-looking radome on top of the main rotor assembly. So if you're curious about what that actually is, it's a millimeter wave radar. Just like you'd see on an F-18 Hornet. And it actually allows the longbow Apache to fire millimeter wave guided Hellfire missiles. There are two types of Hellfires commonly used. The first one is semi-active laser, which means that either a ground team or the aircraft itself has to be within line of sight to laze a target for the Hellfire to track. But the millimeter wave can actually be launched from significantly greater distances, so it's a bit better. Now the Echo model, or the Guardian Apache, I think it actually has all the functionality of the longbow, but they've managed to get rid of the radome. Which is pretty cool. It's also got some other improvements over the longbow, but longbow's still a very cool airplane, don't get me wrong. It'd be really neat to see a super recent kind of update to this airplane for either X-Plane or FSX. I'd be super happy with that. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. I got a little bit of time off today, so I figured I would go ahead and record a video. I also had enough spare time to get a custom URL for the channel. Since we've passed 100 subscribers now, I can do that. And I also updated the channel art. Just kind of did some photo editing on my computer. It's not the best looking, but I tried to go for something that looked kind of cool. Okay, we're going to stay off of ATC for the rest of the flight. But I was going for something kind of minimalistic, so check that channel art out. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. Or if any of you could do a better job, do let me know, because I'm definitely not a graphic artist. We need to acknowledge that. Okay. Goodbye. But I think we hit 120 subscribers today, so that's awesome. Really, thank you guys for all your support. It's super cool to know that there are 120 people out there who are interested in flight sim stuff and aviation in general, and I think that that's great. So the next goal, I guess, would be to hit 1,000. We'll just take it a day at a time. Okay, so since we are flying VFR here, let's take this thing down and do some nap of the earth type flying, just so that this video is not too boring, right? Need to be careful not to overspeed here, though. So nap of the earth is effectively how Apaches fly in combat situations. Means very low and very fast. They typically fly below radar floors. That's part of what makes them so effective. So we'll try that out today. So we fly past this radio tower here. So Apaches can come in low and fast, then they pop their noses up over the tree line, fire their ordnance, and then they retreat. So they're actually really stealthy for such big, loud airplanes. They're flown very sneakily. And the MFD actually works with the flight planner in FSX, which is pretty cool. So you can go into the mission planner and set up your departing and arrival airport and how you'd like to travel, VOR to VOR or GPS or what have you. And then it'll automatically load into the FMS and the Apache. And when you switch on the map MFD, your route will be activated for you, which is very cool. So making the best of that functionality right now. It would be cool to see some type of weapons functionality. Right now, I don't think that there actually is any. Which is kind of a shame. But I guess this captures the flight model relatively well and the looks and feel of it. So if you're just looking out or looking to fly an Apache or feel like you are, I think it does a relatively good job of that. Although it again would be cool to have some of the TADS functionality and actually be able to launch some missiles or shoot the 30mm gun. That would be awesome as well. So if there are any talented modders amongst you, do let me know. That would be really cool if we could make that happen. Although I suppose if you really want to fly a Apache with all the weapon systems working, you could play Arma 2. Or you could join the army if you're really committed. I have to be kind of careful in the external views, because when I transition back, if I have the track IR with my head tilted really far to the right to get a cool angle, it'll actually transition with my head through the chair like that, which doesn't happen in X-Plane 11 because the external views aren't track IR controlled. So something to get used to in transitioning from sim to sim. Would also be pretty cool to try and fly the airplane from the gunner's seat, or just have an option of a view down there, which there's not currently. You fly from the pilot seat, as you should, I guess. Alright, so it's looking like we're most of the way to Fayetteville now, about to transition onto our last leg here in a few miles. Still clocking about 180 knots. Let's go ahead and get some flyby views here. Oh man, that's pretty sweet. Be careful not to crash. Very cool. Alright, so as soon as we get inside of Fayetteville Regional's airspace, we'll go ahead and give them a call. This is not Fayetteville Regional in front of me. Not sure what this is, actually. Can't read the text there. But as soon as we fly over this airport, we'll go ahead and turn to the left. Just playing with the default scenery. Nothing special. I never really got into FSX enough to mod it. I've actually probably got more hours on X-Plane 11 than I do in all of FSX. Most of my sim time prior to X-Plane 11 was in DCS. Also Ace Combat, which is not a sim at all, and I'm sure some people were going to rage for me saying that in that context. But super fun game, just arcadey shooter. That was actually like the first real airplane game I ever played. Well, that's not true. I started out on Top Gun on PlayStation 1, and then I transitioned over to Ace Combat on the PS2 when I was still pretty young. And that's when Ace Combat 4 came out, Shattered Skies. Still probably, that might be my favorite game of all time, honestly, just from all the feels. Okay, let's go ahead and call Fayetteville Approach here. Oh, they actually have Pope AFB simulated. That's cool. Was not aware of that, but we're going to go ahead and go into Fayetteville anyway. Check the ATIS. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and call tower. And we'll request a full stop landing. Okay, so we're going to make left traffic for runway 4. That's just fine. Still got a while before we need to worry about turning onto our downwind leg, so we'll just kind of hang out. You can decrease this, well actually increase zooms in. There we go. Yeah, so we're a bit off to the west. And there's Fayetteville. Cool, cool. Let's go ahead and turn on to our downwind here. We'll swing way out and give ourselves lots of space, since I'm kind of a scrub at helicopters. Alright. Let's go ahead and peep the external view here. There's the view from the Fayetteville Tower. Tail view, very cool. Check out our armaments. Alrighty, let's go ahead and turn on to base. My understanding is that you fly a final, or an approach in a helicopter just like you do in an airplane. It's just the actual landing that's different. Okay, so 130 will be 90 degrees from our final heading here. A little bit inside that, that's fine. Alright, short final. Okay, gonna do our best not to screw this up too terribly here. Go ahead and start slowing down. Still at about 150 knots. It's a bit fast. We should start to see that speed come down. Alright, we're over the end of the runway now. We'll go ahead and flare here. Just pull right on back. Really see that airspeed come down now. Cool. Alrighty. So we'll just take it on down to the end of the runway, nice and easy. And set her down. Again, I'm absolutely positive my procedure's not correct here. Just kind of doing my best. helicopter piloting ability is not up to snuff with my fixed wing at all. Looks like we're doing okay. Okay. Slow and steady wins the race. We're gonna go ahead and set her down. There we go. Okay, cool. Thanks, bro. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, we are on the ground here at Fayetteville Regional Airport. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you want to see more stuff in the AH-64 or just more FSX in general. And get subscribed for more flight sim content, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.